The champ is here. The champ is here. Jack, congratulations, my man.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. So, and you can roll this. I love, my favorite thing about SSG is that it's just so like down to earth. So what we're gonna do is you didn't worry about bringing out your deck, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it up on. We're gonna do the Dreamborn image on screen. You can if you want. If you want to show people, I want to stop you. You do that. But the first thing I want you to show people is show them the thing you won. Show it. Show it.
All right, there it is.
There you go. The champion mat, right here. This is what you get when you show up and you take down a tournament that's got San Syed, that's got Kendall Burdett, that's got Zach Bivets, that's got, I'm insulted if you're not mentioning that there was just so many people in this room, that there was so many golden Mickeys in this room. It was insane. It's just completely insane.
Yep.
So, like, in terms of this being an accomplishment, like, that's an understatement. Talk to me about how you're feeling right now.
Happy, exhausted, full long day of Morgana. And I know, there's this thought that a lot of people have that aggro decks don't require a lot of compete. And it is. So, my argument for this is, I turn sideways once, right? But I make way less decisions than other decks do, which means that every decision I make, if you have 100% of your game decline. If a red node player plays makes 30 different decisions in the game, right? Well, each of those decisions was worth 1/30th of that game. Now, I made 10 decisions in the game. That means if one of them is wrong, I got 10% of my game.
Cool. You were cooked with that, yeah.
So, and I think I almost actually got called for still play in the finals, though. And that's totally a reasonable thing. Like, I don't want to, the judge was almost correct. Like, if I hadn't done something, he would have been well within his rights to like Justin, and he'd get him at play.
Yeah.
And so, and it was just that very last turn where I was like, I know if I screw up this turn, I lose. And if I don't screw up this turn, I win. And so it really took a moment to think through, like, how did I want to do it? And it's really, I had 3 total decisions to make. Do I play Cogsworth or Gonsu?
Right.
Do I play the Spire the Cannons, or do I ink something and play this dock for an extra low heart?
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, that was it.
Those were the 2 to 3 decisions I had, and then there was a non-decision. It turns out, questing with the first Cogsworth was it actually didn't matter. There was nothing he could have done, whether I left that Cogsworth up or down. So, but yeah, every single decision that I make with the deck is very, very important. Any single one of them going wrong is going to lose the game.
Typically, absolutely. My favorite thing that I got to scream today on chat is, haha, you said Blue Steel's dead. That was my favorite thing that's the screen in chat. Like, where are all the Blue Steel dead people? Where you at now, huh? I loved it. It was so good. So let me ask that. I mean, you're the Blue Steel person. Like, that Blue Steel is like the perennial deck for you. I'm going to ask you this question anyway. Why was, even though people were probably blowing you up in DMs about how dead this deck was, all the hate that's been going around it, why was Blue Steel the right meta choice for Sabat?
Yeah. I almost ended up on Amber Seal because Amber Seal is just very, very powerful for amps. And what it came down to is how much practice I have on the decks.
I just said it.
I have hundreds of hours on Blue Steel. Even ignoring, if you combine them all together, it's probably thousands of hours at this point, to be my guess. Yeah. But just on Kiwi alone, I had 700, 800 best of threes that I played during set 6. And so I am very familiar with the deck. I know the game plan. And after the bans, the meta sort of shifted back to what set 6 looked like. And minus the fact that a very, very small on the red-blue deck was no longer very dominant. Right? And so knowing that was one of its worst matchups, I was like, all right, so the worst matchup that I have left is Jordan. I think it's a 45-55. Everything else, I feel very confident in my ability to either 2-0 or 2-1. Well, excited to do this. And so for me, it was especially if I'm looking at Green Steel, Amber Steel, I want to be, if I'm looking at those 2 decks, I want to be on Palace. I want to be on Pluto. I want to be on Cogsworth every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I listen. Cogsworth pulled it so much of its weight. Cogsworth, we were joking, and I'm not joking. I checked TCG player. Cogsworth, I think is going to be on the rise tonight. The other card that we saw a lot, interestingly enough, like you were able to deal with it very well as well. Robin Hood Champion of Sherwood. There was so many Robin. So that's another one that I'm like, that's back. I guess people are not scared of red anymore. So they said, hey, Champion of Sherwood's back. But either way, Cogsworth, high value card. We saw it come up multiple times in your game pack. So let's, and I know this is an interesting question. I love this question. Actually, I'm sorry. I want to highlight something you said. Okay. Because I tell this to everybody that I coach or anybody that I help in this game. I'm going to tell you the same thing that Jack just said. The deck you bring to an event, the deck that you take to an event, usually is the one you have the best practice with. You might tweak it. You might say, hey, maybe I need to make a meta call or a tech call to help me support something. It is not 80% of the time, switching to another deck is not the way. That's my opinion. Like some things that are more you land on that as an opinion, but that's where I land.
I 100% agree. I was a very big proponent during DLC season that if you want to take a deck to a 2-game format tournament, that you really need to have the reps on it. Because in order to 2-0 people, it is so hard to 2-0 people in this game. Yeah. And so you really want to make sure that you know your deck inside and out in order to 2-0. Now, there are some players, some very, very good players that kind of disagree with that sentiment. Yeah. Frankly, I think for regular players that are not, at that continental worlds level, trying to make their first top cut sort of thing, they need to pick a deck and stick with it. Because, man, those reps matter.
Yeah, you have to be, to your point, if you're putting in thousands of hours, a percentage of those hours are going into one deck type. But if you're practicing, you're also playing the other deck types. Enough hours usually make up the difference. But to your point, if it's somebody going to a set champs, or if it's somebody who maybe doesn't have the time to put in those reps, you got to rely on the experience that you got. So that's sorry, I jumped off of. That's okay. I always hate when I see content creators like, oh, well, this is the best deck. This is the best. No, that's not true. Stop telling people that. Okay, stop it. They're playing each other. Playing with your heart. All right. Anyway, that's beside the point. Back to the event. A question I like to ask, especially the champion, because it forces you to think a little bit about your deck. Yeah. You won today's event. Yeah. The average player would look at that and say, well, my deck's perfect. So I'm going to ask you, even though you won, is there anything in terms of your deck design that you might say, you know what would have made my win even easier is if I'd done X. So what are some things that you might have done differently, if at all, that might have helped you in your path forward?
That's a good question. So there are some cards in the deck that are definitely tech card slots that they show up once or twice in a tournament and just blow away the situation. Yeah. And it's definitely possible that something like, and these are cards like also John Silver, Shempo, these sorts of cards that are not integral to the deck, but are strong tech cards. It's possible that those sorts of cards could be something else, right? And there's things that, if you ask some of my friends, they look at it and they're like, Justin, you're playing all these one costs or one lore tech cards. How are you going to quest to 20? Or like, I don't know, Alice?
Yeah, she'll quote me.
Can't be there, I think. I don't know, like Freya on Alice. But the reality is, like, if I took out the John Stutters, I took out the Chenpos, maybe I lose a little bit of percentage points into the decks that are specifically teching for. And maybe I gain just overall points in the field by putting in Lauren, Sir, Windy Darley, stuff like that just quests or two, right? And sometimes in an aggro deck, you want a quest or two. There were definitely some games today where, like, John Silver, I play him, and I was like, I'm playing a 3/3 that has no effect on the game rights. I could design a Windy Darley that is going to guarantee the questing on 2 at the very least. So, it's trade-offs like that.
I'm glad that Shempo was in the deck because it allowed us to play a game called one Shempo versus 100 men who win. Okay, like that was the game. That was all day. We're like, okay, so which is it? JDZ? Like, who's the guy that's going against this one Shempo? Because Shempo's sick. So that was the joke today. But yeah, so thank you for sharing that perspective. Thank you for talking about the deck. We always love picking the brains of people because that helps people to be better, to understand why we do the things we do, and really gather that. So I know you mentioned that you don't necessarily have any social media, but is there anybody or anything that you want to do a shout out for, any thank yous for? I want to make sure that you get the opportunity to say thank you or shout out whatever it is that you would like to do. Yes.
Just shout out to my wife to letting me come down here, really encouraging me to come down here. And let's see, SLTC, they're the testing group that I'm a part of. Be here without them. Those people keep me up to date on how to play the game the best I possibly can. And, got my Blue Steel testing partners in particular. That's, Bad Vegas.
Well, Bad Vegas.
Yep. And then all the Blue Steel homies all throughout the 20 Lord community and everything like that.
I love that it's like a game. It's like a Blue Steel beat. It's like the funniest thing.
And it comes right.
Like I think about like Magic. Like I haven't played a lot of Magic, but there's like people who say, yeah, well you know just based on what this person's doing or what they look like, they're this. But I feel like that's Blue Steel's that community for us here in Oregano, where it's like you play Blue Steel, don't show. It's like, yeah, how'd you know? How'd you guess, right? It's like it's so funny. I think it's that kind of rap, but yeah. And anyway, so we got the wife, we got the shout out to the wife, shout out. We got the shout out to the crew, SLTC, which also, by the way, in the ICL, if you're not watching the ICL, you should be. SLTC is in there along with my team, the Illuminati. Shout out to the Illuminati as well. So, with a great team, you got to watch their games. And yeah, thank you so much for making it out. I'm going to do a shout out to SSG real quick to say thank you, SSG, for supporting this event, for helping us maintain and improve the community through the passion, through the love, through the care that they do. So shout out to SSG for what they do. Make sure you like, you comment, you do all the stuff on this video. I believe it'll be going to YouTube. So that's where you'll be doing all the things. Click the buttons, comment all the stuff. Tell us how much you love us. If you're able to make it out, you should be. If you're not here, you're missing out. You got to come out here. If you want to make it to play in DLCs, if you want to be able to be competitive, you do that by coming to places like your SSG. We have a full on-stream section that's like a full-on production section. You want to get practice playing on stream, you come here. Okay, I promise you that's going to help your gameplay next level. Either way, thank you all so much for joining in. We'll see you on the next one, and congratulations again, Jack.
Thank you.